Getting started with Dr. Explain. Part 9. Export to CHM format. Creating a help file for a Windows application. Help files in CHM format are the standard for creating context-sensitive help for Windows applications. If you press the F1 key in any popular program, then you will most likely be shown a help file in CHM format. Dr. Explain is no exception. Note that the CHM format allows you to create a contextual help system, in which you can show the user the necessary help topic, depending on which program window or mode they're currently working in. So, let's look at the process of creating a CHM file in Dr. Explain in detail. In a CHM file, each topic is represented by a separate HTML page. In fact, this is the same as online help, only packaged into a single file that does not require a browser to view. That means, in your CHM file you can also use HTML and JavaScript inserts and web widgets, plus play videos, and apply additional CSS styles. The topic menu, index, and search functions in the CHM file are implemented by the viewer itself, in a special panel on the left, so those elements are not in the pages themselves. As always, you can create any project in Dr. Explain from scratch, or import existing documentation, for example from Word, or from an old help file, and in just a few minutes create a new CHM file from it. This is a convenient way to convert old documentation to a new format, or update an existing help file. Just like in HTML format, in order to quickly evaluate how your content will look in a CHM file, use the CHM Preview tab. Note that in the CHM Preview mode, you will not see a menu with a tree of topics and a search bar. They will only appear in the final file. In the CHM Preview mode, you can see buttons to modify the page's structure and design, header, footer, and side sections. All these settings are also available through the Project Settings dialog. Again, we recommend starting with the page structure, so you can set the main page layout, and decide if the header and footer should be visible at all times, or if they can be scrolled along with the rest of the content. Decide which tabs you want to show in the left navigation pane of the CHM file, and include the required navigation elements within the pages. After clicking the OK button, the preview window will reflect all the changes. Next, you can start customizing the appearance of your documentation header. Again, we recommend starting with the overall color scheme of the page. You can choose one of the preset color schemes, or use one of them as a basis, and change it to suit your corporate style. After choosing the color scheme, you can customize the design of the header in the visual editor. Just like for HTML format, the new project template already contains the basic elements, logo, title, and subtitle. You can replace them with your own elements, add new ones, or completely redesign the header. It is also possible to edit the header not in the visual editor, but in the code mode. This is handy for copying and pasting the header's HTML code, with your own unique layout. The other blocks are configured in the same way. Please note that the right and left margins are disabled by default. For more fine-tuning of individual elements on the page, you can use your own CSS rules, which need to be added to the Visual Appearance section, in the CHM Export settings. On export, additional rules will be added to the end of the generated CSS file, and override the default settings. If you already have your desired style configured for HTML export, then you do not have to reconfigure these settings for CHM export. Just import them in 2 clicks. To start CHM export, click the button on the main toolbar, or use the Alt-Shift-M keyboard shortcut. In the dialog that appears, you can immediately start exporting. For the first export, you will be prompted to select a path to save the file. For future exports, this path will be preserved, and you can specify whether to overwrite the file each time without confirmation. After the export is complete, Dr. Explain will open the generated CHM file, unless you have disabled this option before exporting. For additional CHM export settings, click the More button in the Export dialog, or go to the CHM Export section, in the Project Settings. In the settings, you can specify which language to use for displaying the project tree. Unfortunately, the CHM format does not have full support for Unicode in the table of contents, so you must specify a character set. However, the HTML pages of the topics themselves have full multilingual support, and they can simultaneously use, for example, Cyrillic and Asian characters. If you want the CHM file to open on a non-indexed page by default, specify the start topic. Also in the settings, you can specify the directory in which temporary files should be created, which are then packed into the final CHM file. By default, this is done in a temporary directory that is removed after export. Also, note that you can set the position and size of the CHM viewer window when it is first displayed. To create CHM files, Dr. Explain traditionally uses the compiler of the free Microsoft HTML Help Workshop. During installation, Dr. Explain either finds the path to the already installed compiler, or offers to install it along with the program. But if during export, you receive a message that the compiler isn't installed, you can always reinstall it, and specify the path to it in this section of the settings. As we said at the beginning, the CHM format allows you to create a contextual help system, in which you can show the user the necessary help topic, depending on which program window, or mode they're currently working in. In order for you to be able to associate topics of the CHM file with interface elements in your application, enable Help ID support in the Help ID section of the CHM export settings. In this case, each topic will be assigned a unique numeric identifier, and its symbolic counterpart, an alias. You can see and change these values in the topic properties. If you want to see examples of calling the CHM file, and working with Help ID and applications in different programming languages, check out the articles and how to section on our websites drexplain.com. So in this video, you learned how to use the CHM export function to create a contextual help file in CHM format for a Windows application or information project, customize the look and feel of the pages, and enable the Help ID support mechanism. Watch more tutorials in this series to learn more about developing user documentation with Dr. Explain. And don't forget, you can install and start working with Dr. Explain absolutely free. The latest version of the program is always available on the website drexplain.com.